Hello, welcome to the It's Time Y'all podcast. I'm calling this my summer special. This is very strange. Hello, it's me, Kristine. Welcome to the It's Time Y'all podcast. I've never done a visual element before. I've never put my podcast on YouTube before. They're only audio. And if you don't know, it's not even recent. I stopped the podcast for a little bit. I don't even remember when I stopped, probably early springtime of 2022. And to be honest, I just miss it. I feel like I don't love making overly chatty videos just because I feel like that just deserves something more like a podcast style. So I thought let's kind of do a little bit of both in doing a little summer special here on YouTube, but also if you want to listen to the audio version. I hope that I remember how to do this audio correctly. Before, I would go into my mom's closet and record just because it was better for the audio, but for the sake of the visual aspect, we're not going to go into my mom's closet today. So hello, y'all. The podcast is not coming back. Maybe later on in life, but not as of right now. This is just a little something for y'all. We are going to jump right in as if this was my actual podcast, and a little update or a few updates here and there. My skin has not been the best. Of course, my skin is fine. I'm not trying to sound dramatic or anything like that. I love my skin. I try my best with my skin and I feel fine about my skin, but there have been a few more pimples than usual, and it's honestly because I've been feeling a little bit more stressed than usual, which is something I don't like to say or really feel. Like if I'm feeling stressed, I like to deal with it and then get over it. I don't really like to vocalize it ever. Also, this outfit for the visual, for the audio, I'm wearing a fun little tank top and this purple crocheted short-sleeved cardigan, and it's a fun combo to me. I really want to wear this on my trip that's coming up at the end of July. I think it would be a vibe, and I thought it was a vibe for this little video. All right, or it's not even going to be little, but for this little special little video. Where was I? My skin, it just has not been great because of how I've been feeling. A lot of it has to do with school, friends, my future. That's kind of what we're going to be talking about in this podcast episode, and I hope you enjoy. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor. I'll have the links down below, and let's get into it all. Okay. I've been, how do I put this? I did a little bit of a catch up in last week's video about where I'm at with school, but let's just do it again here. A quick short little one, just in case. For y'all that already watched that video, I'm still in high school. I have not graduated yet, but I have one more class to go. And it has been a little bit interesting trying to navigate and figure out which elective I need to take or what I should take, what I want to take for this last class in order to graduate. I met up with my academic advisor and she mentioned a class where I could literally hand in my resume and I would be done and I would be graduated. But it doesn't, after looking at universities and colleges, that does not seem like the smartest route to take. So as of right now, I am in an economics class for my final elective because as of recent, I've been into economics. While I look at economics and the programs under economics, I kind of am interested in these programs. And originally when I decided to go back to school after withdrawing from high school, I was interested in political science. To be honest with y'all, I'm not really here for political science anymore. A small part of me still is interested, but I honestly don't really care. I don't. So that leaves me with economics. And I have been looking at schools, looking at different programs that each school has and where would I want to study, because as of right now, I live in Canada, I'm Canadian, and I did look at local schools, but I'm also very, very, very interested in going to a different province for school. If you don't know, a province in Canada is essentially like a state in America. So there's that. And as I've been looking through different programs and schools, the location, like the general area, I'm noticing that I'm going to need a few more classes, I think, in order to actually get into these schools. I don't know for sure because I haven't talked to my academic advisor about it, but I think I'm going to need a few more classes. If I were to stay local, I could finish my elective and go to school here and be done. But I think for where I want to go, maybe it's a little bit stricter. Maybe the standards are a little bit higher. I don't know. But I think from what I'm reading under the requirements, I think I'm going to need to do a few more classes. Because as of right now, I'm getting my adult diploma. It's not a GED. It's an I can't pronounce adult diploma smoothly, but I'm getting an adult diploma, and I don't think that'll cut it if I want to move to and study in the place that I want to study in. So that was a little bit interesting to figure out. Once again, I'm going to ask my academic advisor, see what she says, and we'll see what happens. But that's been a little bit of like not an irritation, but like, oh my goodness, okay, I have a little bit more to do now. Which is okay, because if I actually I am a huge believer that if you honestly want it, you're going to go get it. If you really want something, you're going to go get it. And at the end of the day, if moving out is something that I genuinely want, I know it's going to happen. So, we're going to see about that. And alongside that, I have a question. For maybe, it doesn't even matter how old you are, whether you're far beyond your school years, you're not even in your school years yet, as in like university and college, you're still in high school or something like that, or you're in college, whatever your situation is, let me know what you think. When it comes to school, when it comes to college and going into university, would y'all recommend I do something that I have a clear interest in learning these things? Because I feel like as of right now, I don't know this topic. Would y'all suggest I go into something that I genuinely really, really, really want to learn? Or would you suggest I go into something that I have interest in, but it's more so the fact that I see a clearer path slash future. I haven't done this in a while, y'all, in that field. Because my whole life, people have been like, Kristine, you need to become a therapist. That whole realm of psychology would be good for you. And I see where they're coming from. And I guess I would always resist it just because I thought that if I feel like I have a natural, I don't know if you'd call it a talent, but I'm able to pick up concepts of psychology pretty quickly. It's a natural thing that I can learn. I feel like it's more or less like something that's engraved in me. Like I said, my whole life I've heard you should become a psychologist or a therapist, a counselor of some sort. So there has to be some natural born like traits that's in me for people to say that. And I think I never really saw the point in going into school for that because I felt like it was naturally born in me. And I wanted to do something that I felt like I was challenged in and that I had a very strong interest in. That's where economics comes in. I really, really, really want to learn about economics. And no, I'm not saying that if you go into economics, there are no job opportunities. There are many, but for me, it's just not very clear as to what I would want to pursue if I were to pursue economics as for a career, for my job. I don't know where that path would go, but I have a genuine interest in learning economics, math, and like statistics, and how the world works in a business sense has always interested me, but I've always found it really intimidating to learn. But at the same time, I really want to learn that stuff. Whereas with psychology, I feel like it's more of a natural, how do I say this? I feel like I can pick up the info quicker, more naturally. It's more suited to my brain, I think, and I see a clear path in it. I'm still interested in it, But I think I would still long for learning about economics. And of course, if I focus in psychology, if I go to school for psychology, that doesn't mean I can't take economics classes, vice versa. At the same time, I want to know what y'all would say. Would y'all say go into something that you feel like is a clear path in life, I guess more of the realistic route? Or would you say go into something that you have a very strong interest in and see where it takes you? Because I understand my options are fine. They're good. And it's not like two polar opposite things in a way. There is aspects of psychology when you're talking about economics. So I don't know, but it's been on my mind a lot. All right. I took a little bit of a break to charge up my camera battery, but now I'm back and I want to take a pause on all this school stuff. I meant to begin with a different topic, but I guess my brain was just so hyper-focused on the idea of schooling and whatnot. But I meant to begin with the idea that your future self is so terrifying. Your future self is so terrifying. And I'm trying to explain this in a better way just because it might not immediately make sense. But as I've been doing this economics class, especially in the beginning, there were things that I didn't understand, things that I've never even heard of before. Like I mentioned, I genuinely want to learn this stuff. And so I thought to myself, let that be my focus. Let that be the thing that keeps me going. The fact that I want to learn this stuff and motivate me. And I would sit there, I remember the first day that I registered for the class, and I thought, if I finish this class, if I really do enjoy this economic stuff and I finish this class, all this stuff that I'm reading for the first time now, I will understand. I will know. I will probably be able to explain to someone else. And that's wild. That's so wild. Your future self is so terrifying because they're so capable of so many things. Just so many things beyond what we can comprehend right now as our current selves. As I've mentioned, moving. Ideally, if things come to be, I finish the elective that I need to finish this summer. Sooner the better. But I'm probably going to give myself until mid-August, end of August, like a summer course. Then from September to December, get as many jobs as I possibly can and work and make as much money as I possibly can. And then January 2023 comes around and I start school. And if I get into a school somewhere else in Canada, move out. And I think about my future self going through those steps. I think about my future self finishing high school finally as a 21-year-old. And, I was reflecting a little bit at how embarrassing it can be. I'm literally getting emotional. I'm also on my period, so I think a lot of my emotions have been heightened within the past few days. So there's that. But what was I saying? Yeah. It can be embarrassing. When I sat down one day and I was looking things over and I was like, oh my gosh, it took me this long to finish high school. It can be really embarrassing. And for the people that aren't graduated high school yet, because I wouldn't know that there was a community that are, late to finish high schools, regardless if they were a high school dropout or if they immigrated to a different country, so they had to take classes again, whatever it is, you're not alone in graduating high school late. And you're not an embarrassment. Oh my gosh, why am I crying? My period this month has been absolutely unreal. I shed a few tears last night. I shed a few tears the night before that. And now I'm getting emotional. What is going on? But you're not an embarrassment. There's nothing wrong with you that you graduated late. And late is a word that irks me, but it makes the most sense in this situation. If the typical range is to graduate in a certain amount of years and you surpass that amount of years, you graduated late, air quotations. But yeah, you're not an embarrassment and there's nothing wrong with you and you're not dumb. you're not dumb, and don't feel bad that you had to take your own path, whatever that is, and the people around you are on theirs. You're living an amazing life, and I hope that regardless of whenever you graduated, at the end of the day, what matters, in my opinion, is that you enjoyed it along the way. I think about, why couldn't I just be like everyone else and graduate within the years that everyone else graduates? But then I think about what I had to do for myself, and I wouldn't change that. I wouldn't exchange that time of what I had to do for me in order to be where everyone else my age is at right now. And it takes a little bit of perspective because immediately you just judge yourself. We're all hard on ourselves, and it's very easy to be hard on yourself, especially with like so much stimulation nowadays. But yeah, don't be so hard on yourself, and you're doing great. Whether you're going to graduate late, you're graduating late, you have graduated late, you're going to be okay. And keep on going, keep on going, keep on moving forward. Seriously, keep on breathing, keep on moving forward. You're going to be good. Yeah. So like I was saying before, your future self is terrifying. The idea that I'm going to be graduated soon, if I really work my ass off and do this class. The fact that I'm going to have to work my ass off to make enough money for tuition and rent between the months of September to December. If I move somewhere, I'm probably going to get a job where I move. But I want to feel comfortable moving to begin with. That person that's literally just going to have their head down, working their ass off to make as much money as they possibly can, that's terrifying. I'm not terrified to get there, but if I were to meet that person right now, I'd be like, okay, okay, all right. And then if I do make enough money to where I feel comfortable moving out, the person that's going to leave their childhood home. And I know I'm not the only one doing this. Okay? There are a lot of people out there that are doing this right now. The person that's gonna move out and try to live life on their own and try all this out, and go to school, go to university, go to college and try that out. That is absolutely just whoa. Just whoa. Huh? That's terrifying, and that's wild to think that you are capable of so much more than you think in the moment. You are capable of the things that you want to achieve, and I believe that for you. Even though if it might terrify you, even if you might terrify yourself, you've got this, and you're so capable of things. And at least for me growing up, I always felt I was definitely more of one of those she's clearly an independent kid, grew up a little too fast kind of kid. And I always knew that moving out would be in the books for me, but I never knew when. I also come from an immigrant household, an Asian immigrant household. I'm a female where, especially in all that combined, it's just not very common to move out. But I always knew in the bottom of my heart when I was growing up as a kid, things. A lot of the time, there is so much wisdom in your younger self. You might think, oh, my younger self was such a goofball. But that goofball had a lot of intuition and had a lot of things that were so naturally thought up because we weren't exposed to as much. There are so many times, especially within these past few years, where I'm just like, oh my gosh, my younger self had that down, had that going for her. And you grow up and you mold and you change and whatever, and you let the world affect you, good or bad, happy, sad, whatever. It doesn't have to be good or bad. It can just be, you let the world change you. And then you get, a little mixed up with it all, which is fine because we all do. There's a fuzz on my face. Your younger self has so much wisdom and knows so much about yourself. Maybe refer back to that person here and there. You never know. But yeah, as I was saying, your future self is terrifying. And I'm terrified of my future self. I'm terrified. But it's in a way where I know that they're so much more capable than what I know right now. And that is so freaking cool. That is so cool. I was just listening to some of the voice notes that Beyonce, my internet best friend, and I send to each other. And I love how she is a freaking rock star. There is a podcast episode with her up and a few YouTube videos, or 1, 2, I don't remember, videos where we meet for the first time, internet best friends meeting for the first time. I'll link those down below. She's a rock star. She has graduated university and she's doing her LSAT. Her ass is going to become a lawyer one day. There is no doubt about it in my mind. She is a family gal. She's in a relationship. She's a friends gal. She also loves Friends. She also has a podcast, so I'll also link that down below. But I love how she is able to do so much with her life and achieve such great things. And she has never, literally never, ever made me feel like I was doing less. Or she has never made me feel like I needed to compare my life to hers. We have such a open level of encouragement towards each other. Like, there is not I kid you not, there is not a single message where we are not hyping each other up. Why am I getting emotional again? I kid you not. My period. Oh my goodness. Woo. But we are so encouraging towards each other. And I hope that y'all have one person, a group of people in your life that make you feel like what you're doing is the coolest thing in the world, or matters even, just a baseline of matters, that what you're doing is seen and what you're doing is, I don't know, but I just hope that everyone feels that feeling of encouragement. And if you don't, oh my goodness, that sucks so much. Oh, that sucks so much to feel like you don't belong, or you feel like you haven't found a person that gets you. I'll talk about that later on in the video, in this podcast episode. But I'm sending you so much encouragement. Catch it. Please catch it. I'm throwing it to y'all. I'm physically throwing it to y'all. Catch the encouragement. Catch the validation that you are doing your best and that you're trying your best, and that some days are not going to look very great, very shiny, very smiley, but you're going to keep on going and you're going to keep on breathing, and I believe in you. Catch it. I'm throwing it again. Catch it, y'all. Come on. Here, there you go. There still feels like a fuzz on my face. I'm back from another charging break, but feeling like you don't belong sucks. Feeling like you don't belong sucks. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt that way, yesterday, basically. Yesterday. This has been something that I've talked about so much, especially on the It's Time Y'all podcast. I kid you not. It's like a through line topic throughout the entire podcast. No joke. Feeling like you don't belong sucks, and feeling like the people in your life aren't exactly your people also is really sad. There's nothing wrong with realizing, or with people growing, people changing, people not being the person that they were when you met them. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with learning that the people in your life aren't exactly your people. You love them. You'll love them forever. You will always appreciate the memories with them. But you know deep down in your heart, you know in your intuition that there's still more of you. And maybe the people in your life aren't going to be the people that help you explore more of who you are. And it's really sad. To me, it's a really sad feeling to know, because to me, it's something that I think. And if I were to say, move out, this, that, and the other, in like a indirect way, very indirect way, I guess what makes me really sad is knowing that what I think is like now a reality. That, although I'll always love these people, I'll always appreciate these people, I'll always remember the memories with these people, I'll probably always have these people in my life. But knowing that at the end of the day, they're not my people, if that makes sense. And to the people that feel like they just don't belong where they live, that's difficult. That is straight up difficult. If you have no friends, no support system, no one, that is tough. And to be honest, when I look back at when I switched high schools one year and I didn't have any friends for a couple of months in there, and I would just do everything alone. And there would definitely be days where I would like come home and realize I haven't talked to anyone all day. I didn't speak all day long. It would make me very sad. And I don't know how I even got through it, to be honest with you. A lot of, I guess, self-care, being patient with myself, I guess. But yeah, feeling like you don't belong is really tough. And realizing that the people in your life aren't exactly your people is really sad. At least to me, it's very sad. A few quick topics here. Moving out is expensive and school is freaking expensive. Why does no one talk about how expensive school is? No one talks about how expensive school is. No one. Why is it so expensive? Why is it so expensive? And moving out, I live in a pretty expensive city, so I think anywhere else I would really move wouldn't be as expensive. There's only really one place that would be more expensive, I think. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We will see. I don't want to leave y'all with just a bunch of me complaining and a bunch of me getting emotional. I want to give y'all some substance. So here's how I have blah, blah, blah. Redo. Here's how I have been navigating this time of my life and how I have, or the things that I've done or used to navigate life so far, especially during these times of confusion and a lot of transitioning, a lot of figuring out more of my future, a lot of that. These are the things that I highly recommend. Last summer, it's really dark now, but let's hope it's okay. Last summer, something that really helped me out majorly is that everything will make sense. Everything will make sense. I don't know how I feel about everything happens for a reason, personally. It's not one of my favorite sayings just because I got questions. But we're not going to deep dive into that one. Everything will make sense. If I graduate high school at the end of the summer and I work, right? I apply to schools and let's say I want to move out. If around September, October time, I'm realizing I'm not making enough money per month to move out and pay for my tuition, more or less, things will make sense. Probably not the smartest thing to move and go to school at the same time. Or if I realize I can do this, I feel comfortable with what's in the bank, and I feel comfortable with the school that I'm going to, like hopefully I get into the schools that I want to get into, even though I still don't even know which schools I want to get into, whatever. If I realize that it's a possible thing, then things will make sense, more or less. I will move. And I know that especially in a time of transitioning, in a time of so much confusion and so many questions, things feel like they won't make sense. But they'll make sense. Keep asking your questions and keep moving forward. Keep breathing. Something that I do a lot, which I don't even know is a good thing or a bad thing, is think about regret. Which one will I regret? Especially when I'm choosing between 2 options, 3 options, clear-cut options, I think about which one will I regret not doing more, or which one will I regret doing, whatever. I think about regret. Once again, I don't know if it's a great thing that I do this, but if I'm picking between option A and option B, and I know that if I choose option B, I will regret not choosing option A, then I'm going to choose option A for the most part. I don't know, that's just me. Another thing, sleep. Go to sleep. If it's 2 a.m., you've been sitting at your laptop, at your computer, sitting on your ass for who knows how long, close your laptop, shut off your computer, close your eyes, go to bed. Go to bed and go to sleep because your brain is going to overthink, not be able to organize, blow things out of proportion if you are not rested. So rest. Please rest and come back to whatever you need to figure out once you've rested. Go to sleep. Seriously, it helps. Everything. The next thing, focus on what you can do now and focus on the now. As of right now, I can focus on my elective and finishing my high school diploma. I can focus on narrowing down the schools that I want to go to. I can't focus on if I'm going to make enough money to go into X, Y, and Z school. I can't focus on the logistics of moving out. I'm not there yet. And so I'm just not going to touch it. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to put more on my plate than needs to be, you know? The next thing, breathe. I've literally said this throughout the whole episode. Keep on breathing. Keep on moving forward. And lastly, notice when your emotions are heightened. Like this situation right now, I'm on my period, blah, blah, blah. I know that my emotions are heightened. And although I do feel this way about certain things, I know that my emotions are heightened. Even when you don't feel like they are heightened, notice when you feel certain emotions, when certain thoughts come to you. Whenever I feel emotions, thoughts coming at me, I try to not fall into them or resist them. Let's say I'm feeling really alone. I don't want to constantly say to myself, oh my gosh, I feel alone. I'm so alone. I have no friend, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to fall into it. But I also don't want to resist it. I don't want to say, I'm not alone. People around me support me. I feel loved. All this like overly doing it. I don't want to resist how I'm feeling. Accept how you're feeling. Be able to sit there and say, I feel alone. That is how I'm feeling. You don't need to go on and on and on in either direction of resisting or falling into the feeling. You can let it remain as the feeling, as it is, as it came to you, and as it is. It is a fact that I'm feeling this way, but what I'm feeling isn't a fact. Does that make sense? It's a fact that I feel alone. It's a fact that I feel alone, but I'm feeling alone isn't a fact. It's a feeling because you are feeling alone. It's a fact that I feel this way, but what I'm feeling isn't a fact. That is my last little tip for y'all, and that brings us to the end of this little summer special. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope that for the people that listened to the podcast before, this fulfills a little bit of, or this was a nice surprise. This was a nice surprise, and for the people on YouTube, I hope you like this. I hope you like this little random podcast special because I really wanted to do this. And yeah, but productive vlogs are coming back. They are. I don't know if they're going to be coming back next week, but the following week, they will be back for sure. So yeah, follow the Instagram at its_time_y'all. This podcast, the It's Time Y'all podcast, does have an Instagram. I'm not the most active on it just because technically the podcast doesn't, all the episodes are still up, but I'm just not actively working on the podcast. But if you want to listen to all the other episodes that I've made, I don't even know how many I've made, go check those out. If you're interested, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the links will be down below. For the people on audio, yes, I make YouTube videos. And if you want a visual, I'm on youtube.com/itstimeyall. Yeah, I don't even know how to like end this one out. Thank you for watching. Thank y'all for listening. If you did both, thank you so much. Yeah. Whoa. Wild. Okay, I appreciate you. Thanks for living with me right here, right now. And I'll be back with a new video next week. See you later. See you later, y'all.